Well, welcome back to my channel. Today we have an action camera review. Now this action camera is from XTU and it is the Max Pro. About 6 months ago I did a review on an XTU camera. It was the S3 and this is the updated version to that S3 and they call it the Max Pro. Now this action camera is capable of taking 4K video at 60 frames per second. So that's an upgrade over previous models. They also upgraded the image stabilization and a few other things that we'll get into. I'm going to do a quick unboxing, show you exactly what you get with this action camera, but then I'm going to be putting it to work. I'm going to show you sample footage. After all, you have an action camera, you want to see exactly what type of quality you can expect from it. We'll test things like the image stabilization. We'll test it in different light conditions, and I'm going to show all that sample footage to you so you can know exactly what to expect if you were to purchase this camera. First, let's get into the unboxing. So it is the XTU Max Pro. And it is a 4K, 60 frames per second. Here are some of the key features. You can pause that and look at those if you would like. Let's get into the actual box. So here is the actual camera, and it does come in a waterproof casing, although the actual camera is waterproof down to about 5 meters without this case. But the camera also comes with a whole host of accessories. There's more accessories and mounts than you can ever imagine. Comes with a windscreen for the outside of the camera. Just a whole boatload of different accessories. Almost more than you can count. But one of the important accessories, it does come with an external microphone. It does have the USB, micro USB connection on there. It's kind of a flexible, kind of stays positioned how you have it. So we'll be testing some audio here, but you also get more mounts. It does come with a wristwatch. It's going to allow you to start and stop the recording or to take a photo. Over on this side, you come with more Velcro straps for mounting, zip ties. Here's a handlebar or a 1-inch tube mount, and it also comes with a USB cable. So let's take a closer look at the actual camera. Again, this camera, it has a metal casing and it is waterproof, just the way it is. Of course, you have to have all your compartments closed in order for it to be waterproof. It does have dual screens, so it has a screen up front and it has a touch screen on the back. The front screen is not touch screen. You do have a battery compartment down here, and it does include one battery. So it's an XTU Max battery. I believe that's a 13,500 milliamp battery. Also has your micro SD port inside of your battery compartment. So you will have to possibly take out your battery in order to put your SD card in there. On this does have a 1/4-20 mount right there integrated into the bottom of the camera. Over here on the side, it has a compartment that has your connections there for your external mic or to charge the battery. It has a small microphone here on the side for the internal mic. You have 2 buttons on the top. Over here is your power button on the side. So 3 total buttons, and remember it is touchscreen. Let's see if there's enough battery here to power this up. We're going to press and hold the power button, and it does power up there. It says there's no SD card inside it. So next I'll fully charge this battery, and then we're going to begin testing this camera. We'll test things like this image stabilization, which is supposed to be improved, the 4K at 60 frames per second. We'll test different resolutions of the footage, see if there's a difference, if we can see a difference. It does come with that external microphone, so we'll be testing the audio, both the built-in mic, and then we'll use that external mic. So lots more to come. We're going to put this thing to work, and we're going to see how well it actually performs. Let's start out with image stabilization. If there's anything that'll test the image stabilization, it is a rickety old 40-year-old tractor. That tractor has 0 suspension, so it should definitely give this a test. The image stabilization is an upgrade, and in fact, it's advertised as having SuperSmooth 3.0 anti-shake with hyper-smooth stabilization. You get gimbal-like video without a gimbal. So let's test it. I'm going to show you these clips. You can also get a feel for the quality while you watch these. So let's see the anti-shake image stabilization. Let's check out the quality from these clips. wanted to do an audio test. Remember, this camera includes an external mic, and obviously it has an internal mic. You're hearing me now with the camera's built-in microphone. I'm a little over an arm length away, and for an action camera, if you're going to do any type of vlogging, this is probably a reasonable distance. You might actually be a little bit closer. Should be able to get a good idea of how the internal microphone is picking me up and how well you can hear me. I'm going to switch it now to the external microphone that's included with this camera. Let's see if there's any difference. You're now hearing me on the external microphone that was included with this camera. I'm still approximately an arm length away. You should be able to compare the two clips here of how well you can hear me now versus using the internal microphone on this camera. So the XTU MAX PRO includes this external microphone. So this XTU camera comes with a waterproof case if you want to do some deep diving. Now keep in mind, if you have it in that case, you're going to lose virtually all audio, but it's also waterproof just the way it is, down to approximately 5 meters. But many things you use an action camera for, it makes it handy having a waterproof camera. In fact, I did a time lapse of an incoming storm. This camera held up well. There's many other things you can use an action camera for in the rain or the snow, maybe fishing, or other times when your camera could get wet. It's a peace of mind knowing that it's waterproof. Now this camera is advertised as a better battery compared to previous models, and in my testing I got approximately 30 minutes of record time out of one battery. Now keep in mind, I think the frame rates seem to affect that, so if you're shooting in 4K at 60 frames per second, it's going to take more battery, let's say versus 1080p at 30 frames per second. So I found the battery life to be about average or maybe slightly higher than most other budget-friendly action cameras. Here's another direct comparison of some footage in 4K at 60 frames per second versus 1080p at 30. Now there is a whole slew of different settings in between there, but this footage is 4K at 60 frames per second, and it's going to be followed directly by 1080p at 30 frames per second. So we tested things like image stabilization. I gave you an example of the audio of the internal microphone versus the external microphone, and showing you different quality of clips from sunshine to cloudy like it is now. It's now time for my final thoughts. I think this camera did great. Remember, it offers 4K at 60 frames per second, and it costs just a fraction of what a big name action camera, maybe a GoPro, would cost you. In fact, you could buy 2, maybe even 3 of these cameras for the price of just one name brand action camera. I thought the footage was excellent. In fact, it's probably the best footage of any action camera I own. Now, I do not own or ever have owned the name brand action camera, so I can't compare directly that way, but you can see for yourself what type of quality footage you can get with this camera. The image stabilization was definitely improved, and again, better than any other action camera that I have. The image stabilization did extremely well. The internal microphone versus that included external microphone, it's a nice option that you can put in that external microphone. As you could probably tell in the testing, the external microphone is definitely louder. Not sure if it's better quality audio. It definitely seems like a hotter microphone, and it does make everything seem louder. Another positive is its touchscreen. This camera's touchscreen is again improved over many other action cameras that have touchscreens that I've used in the past. In fact, it's very responsive. They have that pretty well perfected, I would say. No trouble scrolling through different settings. Touching different things on the screen is very responsive. Big thumbs up for the touchscreen on this camera. Remember, this camera also includes that front screen, so if you're doing a vlogging type videos with this camera, that's extremely handy. You can make sure you're framed just right with that small front facing screen. Now keep in mind that front facing screen is not touch screen, only the back of the camera is a touch screen. Now, are there any negatives? Well, one thing that does stick out to me is that it only includes one battery. And although I said the battery life is about average or maybe slightly better than average for this type of action camera, I really wish they would have included the second battery and a charger. So this camera came with only that one battery, and you have to charge it inside the camera with a USB cable. It came with no external charger. You can buy the external charger and extra batteries. They are available, and I'll put a link down in the description. I think they're about $25 for maybe 1 or 2 extra batteries and a charger. I really wish they would have included that with the camera. There's nobody that runs action cameras that don't need at least 2 or multiple more batteries. So please, XTU, include extra batteries and an external charger with your cameras. So that is it, the pros and cons. I really like the camera. A long list of pros. That one con obviously doesn't affect the functionality of the camera. If you're using an action camera though, you're definitely going to need that more than one battery, and it's nice to have an external charger along. Well, I'm going to be placing a link down in the description to this camera. If you want more information or would like to purchase one for yourself, feel free to follow that link down in the description. If you have questions or comments, I'll do my best to answer any questions, and I love hearing your comments and hearing from you. I try and get back to each and every one of you. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.